We have something special for you tonight. We are introducing one of our puppies to the show. Let's hear it for Aaliyah. Aaliyah? Aaliyah?
Oh! Hi! My name is Aaliyah, and I am a puppy.
We already told him that, sweetie.
I did? Oh, yeah! Anyway, I'm Aaliyah, and this is my first time on the show. It's my pleasure to introduce a new song by J-Mo and Maximilian featuring Fright Z.
That's Fritzy, honey.
Oh, yeah. It's just that she seems so frightened of me. I'm happy I get to sing on the song. It's called...
Aaliyah? Aaliyah?
Oh, no. Her brain froze again.
Boom, boom.
Oh, good, she's back.
So what are my words again?
You just said them.
I did?
Yes.
Can you tell me what they were again?
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom.
You got it.
I've got what?
We're just gonna have to roll with it.
Here's J-Mo and Maximilian featuring Lil Fritz with...
Boom, boom.
Yep. Boom, boom.
They say that anyone can rap, boom, boom, but that's just a load of crap, boom, boom. You gotta keep it on the beat, boom, boom, or you'll go down in defeat, boom, boom. I had the rhythm in the womb, boom, boom. Gonna take it to my tomb, boom, boom. And every moment in between, boom, boom. I always keep my rhythm clean, boom, boom. You say my rapping isn't right, boom, boom, 'cause I'm wrinkled, old, and white, boom, boom. But I ain't looking for a fight, boom, boom. Just gonna rock into the night, boom, boom. And I ain't doing it alone. Boom, boom. Got a compadre of my own. Boom, boom. Not gonna sit back and relax. Boom, boom. Gonna pass that mic to Max. Boom, boom. They say that anyone can rhyme, boom, boom. And they can do it all the time. Boom, boom. Well, I know I'm just a cat, boom, boom. But I'm here to tell you that boom, boom. It's not as easy as it sounds, boom, boom. And the stupidity abounds. Boom, boom. When people try to say a poem, boom, boom. They should just pack up and go home. Boom, boom. And I most heartily concur, boom, boom. From the bottom of my fur, boom, boom. And all of you probably agree, boom, boom. There's no one rhymier than me, boom, boom. Now I'm going to pass the mic, boom, boom. To someone that you really like, boom, boom. She's going to blow your mind to bits, boom, boom. Here she is, it's Little Fritz, boom, boom.
Hey everybody, it's me.
Boom, boom.
I'm as happy as can be.
Boom, boom.
I like to sing and like to dance.
boom.
Every time I get the chance, I cannot drive in a caddy, but I can cuddle with my daddy, or I can cuddle with my mama. Tell you, cuddle leans upon. I like to sit in the sun. I like to purr at everyone and warm up daddy's freezing
that's
feet. And of
not
course,
how
I
we
like to eat.
rehearsed
I
it.
like to eat baked potatoes, tomatoes, frittatas, enchiladas, salads, and soups, and a bowl of Fruit Loops, spaghetti, salami, jello, pastrami, bologna, minestrone, applesauce, and pepperoni. Anything from Applebee's, anything from Tasty Freeze, anything from Dunkin' Donuts, and of course, I love cheese.
Well, listen up, my foes and friends.
Boom, boom.
We're really getting near the end.
Boom, boom.
I'm just here to spread the love,
Boom, boom.
with the help of God above.
Boom, boom.
You say my rapping isn't right,
Boom, boom.
'cause I'm wrinkled, old, and white.
Boom, boom.
But I ain't looking for a fight.
Boom, boom.
I'm just gonna say good night. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom.
Welcome, everyone. Sit down. Today's briefing will indeed be brief. See what I did there? Oh, I'm so witty. And darling, just look at my round face and cute, bouncy curls. Every woman wants me. I mean, could I look any more like a chocolatey porcelain doll? Okay, our main announcement is that this administration will no longer be giving State of the Union addresses. We can all see that things are going exactly as planned, so why dwell on it? Instead, we will be focusing on our successes. So welcome to the first biannual State of the Diversity Address. We made it by due to our overwhelming support of the LGBTQIP2SAAFJB community. This is how devoted we are to diversity. I am thrilled to announce that this administration is the most diverse in history, and we are absolutely dedicated to hiring only the most qualified people for each position. For instance, I am a press secretary who cannot answer questions or speak coherently without reading what I'm saying, so I qualify for my position because I am a gay black immigrant with a hyphenated French name. Our first female vice president is a barren Indian Jamaican granddaughter of a slaveholder who celebrated Kwanzaa before it was even made up. Her other qualifications are listening to Tupac before his first album, joking about smoking pot, and locking up thousands of black people for smoking pot. Our transportation secretary needed absolutely no experience or knowledge in transportation because he's gay and doesn't actually do anything. Who better to serve as Secretary of Health than the first female 4-star admiral who never actually served in any branch of any military? Dr. Levine is an obese, mentally ill man in a dress whose pediatric background led him to firmly encourage mutilating children. Okay, technically Rachel is only the assistant secretary, but no one pays attention to Xavier Becerra because he only barely qualifies due to being straight and male, but he is the first Hispanic in his position, so we let that one slide and just give Rachel the limelight. Ketanji Brown Jackson is the first ever black person to be appointed to the Supreme Court because Thurgood Marshall and Clarence Thomas just don't count. She's even more qualified because she admitted she doesn't have any constitutional law experience or opinions and is a woman who doesn't know what a woman is. Our former Deputy Assistant Secretary for Spent Fuel and Waste Disposition in the Office of Nuclear Energy, Sam Brinton, is a bald porn stash sporting non-binary man who loves wearing designer gowns he steals from baggage carousels. He will be reinstated as soon as we can get the K for klepto added to the acronym. With President Joe Biden as the perfect example and guide going forward, the federal government will only be hiring or appointing the most qualified candidates based on their color, genitals, mental deficiencies, and fetishes. If you can't check the bigot boxes on the application, don't bother to apply. I won't be taking any questions. Get out.
Welcome to Counterculture Wise, a Stormcap production. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts, our guests, and the dog, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any of our platforms, our advertisers, or any other dog.
As you listen today, please remember, we are so much more than a podcast. All of our stories we discuss are linked in our show notes on counterculturewise.com. Visit there for commentary, guest photos and links, animations, and fun merchandise.
If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on our show, contact us via our website. You can also follow us on Twitter, Gab, Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media, where we'll post memes, cat pics, and commentary that gets us booted off on a regular basis.
If you're listening live, be sure to join our chat on Spreaker. If you're listening dead, please stop voting Democrat, but enjoy the show anyway. Good evening. Happy Easter. He is risen.
Indeed.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. Hello, Dave and Chat, one of our favorite people on the whole planet. So nice to see you there. It has been a beautiful, amazing, fantastic, fantabulous day today. Of course, it is the best day of the year. It is the day that we celebrate the risen Lord. We are the only religion on the planet that has a live God. Did you know that?
Pretty cool.
We're the only ones. Folks, we're not going to go all crazy Christian on you, although we will be reading a little bit of the gospel toward the end, but we have a jam-packed show today. Do we have some things to talk about? We're going to have a lot of fun.
to talk
You'll
about.
notice on our thumbnail that this is the first or the debut of the pups. We're still working on getting them animated so they can be part of it, but Aaliyah brought us in with her Boom Boom, and soon we'll have an entire series of her trying to find a job that suits her. It's tough when you're a ADD special needs doggy. Anyway, she's trying. God bless her. She's a sweet, sweet puppers. Well, let me introduce myself. I am your hostess with the mostest, Ms. Melanie Hope. And here in front of me, across from me, here in the studio, here at Counterculture Y Studios, wearing his Cameron Park hat,
Zoo.
Zoo, is my co-host. Happens to be my husband and best friend. He's also, believe it or not, you may not believe this,
Sometimes I don't.
my
It's amazing.
sweet babu, Mr. James Monet.
Hi! Okay, dumb dad Easter joke.
All right, Easter.
Here we
joke.
go.
Here we go.
What's the best way to make Easter easier?
Easter bunny.
No, just put an I where the T is.
And
It took a moment, didn't it?
I think the Don Business is so bad. Only the wah got the dun dun dun.
Well, it works. It's the same effect.
That's okay. You get the hashtag babu in chat. So.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so we have a lot of things to talk about. First of all, I don't know if there's anybody from our church who listens to our podcast, but I sincerely enjoyed today's sermon, particularly how we got the stone that was rolled away.
Nah.
How do I put this? Related to kidney stones. Because things must be removed in order for you to see the light.
So
I
basically,
thought it was actually quite
yeah.
brilliant, the way
Yeah, it was.
Pastor.
And it was an important question.
He
I
said,
mean,
this is a sermon that you won't hear at the Catholic Church or the Methodist Church. We're like, yeah, I don't think they've ever said, Happy Easter, I passed a kidney stone. So,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was like, what is the stone standing in your way? Was the message?
in a way, yeah.
Which what do you have in front of you that needs to be rolled away? So,
I just thought it was...
without getting too esoteric or religious or whatever.
all that stuff. Esoteric,
Stuff like
religious,
that.
Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. Oh, my sakes. So we've had quite a weekend. It's been very pleasant and enjoyable. And our doggies went to the park. Was this Sadie's premiere at the park, or was it the week before?
It was the week before.
Okay. Yeah, Sadie had a great time both times.
Yeah. She was surprisingly submissive because she's such a monster at home. So the first day that we went there, she was met with like a gigantic dog right out of the gate. She's like, I don't think I like this. And she stayed right by our heels the entire time. It was adorable.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, we protected her when he got, too rambunctious. I pulled her up. But for the most part, she's playing with other dogs. She's being really good. She was checking in. Doing all
She
the
was being
things
more
that she could
sociable
do.
with the other dogs than I was being with the other people.
Well, there's that.
But, I was like,
Yeah, but
hey,
she
how you
was
doing?
being a good woggy. I'm very proud of her.
And Allie just blends right in.
Oh,
when she
Allie
was at
just
dog
like,
park.
screw you guys, I'm out of here. Talk to the paw. And she's off playing with the dog.
Although she will respond to us when we call her, which is
new.
Which is
Yeah.
new, especially since she still doesn't do that here on the ranch. But, whatever.
Yeah, you can only do what you can do.
Yeah. So, to start things off, it is sickening and sad that this happened anywhere, but it is even more. It's even sadder that this,
even more.
that it happened here in the beautiful Republic of Texas. It's upsetting. You read it.
You want me to read this one? Because things might get a little bit ugly.
I'll go ahead and read it.
There may or may not be a ginger snaps.
This is the very definition of insanity. This is crazy. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said on Saturday he's seeking the pardon of an Uber driver convicted of murder a day earlier in the July 2020 shooting death of a man at a Black Lives Matter protest in downtown Austin, the state capital. Abbott, in a post on Twitter, said he will pardon Daniel Perry, 37, a U.S. Army sergeant, as soon as a request from the parole board hits my desk.
Good.
The Republican...
people on Twitter are saying absolutely awful things about the guy, and what's really funny is they don't mention his military service. They only mention the terrorist military service.
To be fair, I have not seen the video, but apparently, well, I'm just going to keep reading here. The Republican governor noted he can grant pardons only on the recommendation of the state's Board of Pardons and Paroles, but that he is allowed to request pardons. The case hinged on whether the shooting was in self-defense. A jury found on Friday that Perry, I'm going to skip that part of it, shot because it's just not relevant. Perry shot and killed Garrett Foster.
You mean where they list everybody's races because that has nothing to do with anything? Yeah.
Exactly. 28-year-old man was carrying an AK-47. Perry was driving in the city the night of the shooting and turned his Uber vehicle onto a street where Black Lives Matter crowd was marching, according to media. Perry stopped, and several protesters, including Foster, approached his vehicle. Protesters told police they feared they were being assaulted with the vehicle, according to media accounts.
They were blocking the dang road. The guy couldn't get out.
Well, okay. I'm trying to be fair-minded here.
I am too.
Perry's defense team claimed the weapon was leveled at him and he had no choice but to fire his pistol in self-defense, the newspaper reported. Neither of Perry's attorneys was immediately available for comment by phone or email. I'm not going to state an opinion on this simply because I don't know all the facts. I'm tired of everybody on both sides jumping to conclusions. But they're not. So far, they haven't shown any evidence to us of one way or the other. The only video that's been released is
I don't
just
see anything on the video.
But Perry's basing his decision on, here's a big word, exculpatory evidence. And I learned what this was from watching an episode of Law and Order and looking it up in the dictionary when they said it. It just means evidence that could potentially clear a suspect. So
might exonerate the defendant.
Exonerate the defender, yes, the defendant.
Much like the admission of Horseface that nothing ever happened between them. And trying not to get political.
I will work as swiftly as Texas law allows. Okay. Perry was convicted of murder after the jury deliberated for 17 hours in the 8-day trial. I will work as swiftly as Texas law allows regarding the pardon of Sergeant Perry. Texas has one of the strongest stand-your-ground laws of self-defense that cannot be nullified by a jury or a progressive district attorney, he said. Additionally, I have already prioritized reining in rogue district attorneys, and the Texas legislature is working on laws to achieve that goal. Must be hard to be the only Republican in Austin. But anyway. Oh, boy. Yo-ho-ho? Jose Garza, the district attorney for Travis County, where the case was tried and where Austin is located, is a Democrat, surprise, and has been in office since January 1st, 2021.
You guys just go home to your damn state where you belong and get out of Texas.
Too late. When the verdict was read, Perry buried his head in the chest of one of his lawyers and sobbed, the Austin American-Statesman reported. We're happy with the verdict. We're very sorry for the family as well. There's no winners in this, said Stephen Foster, who is a great songwriter and also the victim's father, according to the newspaper.
A great songwriter?
Stephen Foster. He wrote, "Oh, Susanna, Don't You Cry for Me." I liked the joke.
I had no idea who that was.
Anyway. So, yeah, on and on it goes. I don't know. If he was defending himself and still got the book thrown at him because he was defending himself because he was on the wrong side politically, it does slightly smell that way, but I don't want to make any, jump to any conclusions. I just don't.
Because the only video I've seen shows nothing. Yeah. I can't see any. You just see people scream and run.
Yeah.
So I have no idea.
Yeah.
If your car is surrounded by terrorists, and that's what BLM and Antifa are, they are terrorists, and one of them has an AK-47 and points it at you, they forfeited their life. If he took them out and that was the reason why he made the world a better place. That's the closest I'm going to come to judgment because I don't have all the facts.
Right.
I have not seen the video. I don't know what happened. Thing is, if you are acting in self-defense, much like Kyle Rittenhouse, this should have never even been brought up in trial.
Right.
This should never
Now,
be
on the
brought
other
in trial,
hand,
especially here in Texas.
On the other hand, if he did just shoot the guy because he happened to have an AK-47, that's a fine line. I don't know. I just know that if you defend yourself and you get your rights taken away from you for using your right to defend yourself, and this does happen a lot around here.
Says. Garrett Foster had every right to go up to him and see what the heck was going on, and he had every right to do it with a deadly weapon, his rifle, because Perry was in a deadly weapon, his car. Stop.
Car is
in an intersection that was surrounded by terrorists. It's not like he, made a turn into the thing on purpose. He was an Uber driver. He was on a road where all of a sudden it was swarming with these infantile insects that are out there protesting something they still know nothing about. And they're violent, and they burn cities down, and we've been seeing them do this over and over again. So, we are
a little tired of it, and frankly, we are, I hate to say it, kind of assuming that the sergeant in the Uber was the innocent here. But like I said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'm okay with that once we find out more what happened. But I don't go by what a jury says necessarily in a case like this.
And maybe they have more information that we don't.
Yeah,
maybe
which is probable. I'm trying to be fair here. I know what my gut tells me one thing, but I don't know.
But then you look at what happened with what's his name and George Floyd, and I mean, basically that jury was threatened. Their families were threatened, and the judge was threatened. He did not see justice.
No, he didn't. He did not.
And apparently it's just okay to go marching on Supreme Court justices, homes and threaten them with death and all kinds of things. So I don't think people get fair trials anymore. I'll be honest.
When it's politically charged, and everything like this these days is politically charged, it's hard to get a fair trial.
Yeah.
Especially when pressure is being put on you. Undue pressure is being put on you.
And when, prosecutors are being assigned by a Nazi-loving billionaire that hates America. I mean, not that I'm a tinfoil hat-wearing conspiracy theorist, but dude, follow the money.
Yeah. Always follow the money. That is... I don't care what race, religion, color, creed, age, gender... Follow the money. That ultimately, that is the number one rule of this planet.
Okay. Do we have anything more we want to say on that? Because
I'm kind of
done.
That
was briefer than I was expecting, but I feel like we don't have all the information.
We don't, and because I have jumped to conclusions before and been wrong about things like this.
That's the most exercise we get around here.
That's true. That's true. I need to remedy that.
All right. Well, why don't we head on into our opening segment, which, of course, is always...
Counterculture Wise is proud to present News of the Weird and Wonderful. Here are your hosts, Melanie Hope and Jim Monis.
Okay. Let's start with more weird than wonderful, because this is definitely weird.
I can't believe it.
An Australia resident broke a Guinness World Record. You know how we love those here because they're always weird. When they crafted a wig measuring 8 feet and 6 inches wide. Guinness World Records announced that Danny Reynolds broke the record for the world's whitest wig. Say that 3 times fast.
I can't say it once fast.
World's whitest wig. World's whitest wig. When they created the oversized faux hairdo. That was a hard one, too. Faux hairdo. Reynolds based the color and texture of the wig on their really? Are we doing this for realsies? I want to see who this person is. That's a dude. Oh God, that wig is hideous.
Well, it's not about the prettiness of it, but yeah, it's huge.
Ugly.
It's burgerly.
Like really ugly. Okay.
It has to. I mean, it's being supported by a.
Danny Reynolds broke the record for the world's widest wig. Okay, so I think this Danny person, it looks like a dude.
I don't care.
But it's
That's
wearing
not the
pink,
point.
and I don't know what it is. I can't tell if it's a dude or a chick, to be honest. I'm pretty sure it's a dude.
Well, they use the term
Chat,
there.
Wowzers, world's whitest wig went weirdly wonderful Wednesday. Whoa. I'm going to be talking
Well,
like
it doesn't help that the gender assigned by the press is they.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I don't know what
Reynolds
it is.
based the color and texture of the wig on their own hair.
I can't say they. It's grammatically anyway. Reynolds based the color and texture of the wig on its own hair and created a substructure to support the massive mop of fabric. The support structure was made from a bike helmet, PVC pipe, pool noodles, cable ties, and aluminum rods. It sounds like our front yard.
Yeah. Yeah. The wind blows everything in here.
It is hideous. It's really ugly.
All right.
I'm pretty sure that's a guy.
Okay. I nah.
I can't. Yeah, and it needs a pulley, so he has to like stand underneath it, so you can't even really wear it. Giant pink bows to go with his giant pink shoes. I'm sure those are at least a size 13.
The person is huge. Whatever they are big. Which you'd have to be to carry a wig like that, even with a pulley attached to it.
They are is actually hurting my heart.
Okay.
They are.
All right. So, I recently had an experience where I bought some glasses. I'm not going to go too far into that.
Okay.
But this is something that unchecked I could see myself doing.
I can totally see you doing this.
The irony is poetic. A man in the UK accidentally ordered too many pairs of reading glasses because he misread the amount on the website. And there's a photo of the poor guy with boxes and boxes of reading glasses. Chris Arnold found his father's online shopping blunder hilarious and posted it to Twitter. My dad has accidentally bought 60 pairs of reading glasses off the internet after misreading the quantity of his order, he captioned the post. Specsavers, the website he ordered from, had some fun in the comments of Arnold's post. Do we even need to say it, the account wrote. At this point, guys, I don't think you do. P.S. Are you interested in buying 59 pairs of reading glasses off my dad? Arnold responded.
I'm sure the company will take them back.
If you can't shift them, you might want to consider adding an extra 113 eyes to your dad's face, Specsavers said.
Oh, my. Oh, he did get a refund.
He got a
Okay.
refund.
All right,
He got a
hilarious.
refund. That's
At least
that's how it should. That's how it should have
That
ended.
actually is really good PR. Very good PR. Unlike Bud Light.
Yeah,
very
we're going to
good
get
PR.
into that. A beer, a beverage that pretends to be a beer is like sponsoring a man who pretends
Well,
to
I
be a
never
girl.
understood associating large draft horses with yellow foamy liquid, but I love their
no.
commercials, and now
Yeah.
it's like, now that I know what you're all about, it's over.
We'll talk. I don't know if we actually added this onto our list of things to talk about, but we will be talking about that.
I think
Later in the
Chuck
show.
touches on it.
Yeah. I want to talk about it more in detail. There is this false story going around that the
is there?
CEO of Anheuser-Busch has stepped down and that they've lost hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. We don't know this. This
I wanna
situation's a
believe that,
week
but
old,
yeah.
and it's all
Now, here's
it's
the
fake
thing.
news. It's totally fake.
One of the reasons I'm not a Republican, never have been and never will be, is because, folks, if children are listening, have them leave the room. Republicans are pussies who never do anything. They're a bunch of spineless wimps who whine and cry about things, but never actually stand up for their principles. They
It is
never
a shame.
actually do.
They want to be.
So they'll whine and cry and shoot guns at beer and do all the other dumbass things that they do, but they'll never actually do something. You know, when you find out that we are being robbed blind of our country and this degradation and this absolute just perverted disgustingness is going on from infanticide to mutilating children, and all they do is whine and cry and complain. We can't even motivate people to get out and vote. And, you know, if the left is going to do all this stuff with you know, ballot harvesting and all that, why the hell aren't Republicans doing that? Why are they constantly whining and crying but never doing a damn thing?
Because
the reason this country has gone to hell, straight to hell, the way the Romans did, is because Republicans are a bunch of spineless
This is
twats.
why I have always been an advocate for third parties.
Well, that's the problem, though, is people aren't smart enough to be able to handle three things. They can do...
Well,
and basically, it's a uniparty at this point.
Well,
I mean,
of course it is.
Everything
It's
the
like
Republicans do, right down to, you know, Trump even being a viable candidate, is just basically, you know... I mean, Trump had a lot of good ideas, and he had a lot of good things that he could have gotten done.
Mm-hmm.
But he was completely lame ducked because we let the left absolutely just run ripshod all over everything. They lied, they cheated, they stole. They still are making up stories. People still believe the Fine People hoax and the drink bleach hoax. People are so damn dumb that they'll read a headline and that's as far as they'll get, and the story itself doesn't even support the headline. The press is nothing but Pravda. It's a state-run organization that just pumps out whatever
I think Chuck
supports...
is going to be dealing with one of those sources in a moment here.
And people have been dumbed down by this leftist mafia and the rainbow mafia to the point where nothing's getting done. It's just black and white, black and white, black and white. It's like nobody even can talk. I mean, you go on Twitter, what a cesspool. You go on Twitter and you cannot say two words. I mean, I am literally getting threatened. My life is being threatened by some slime ball on Twitter. Is anything happening? You know, is the FBI, going after him? No. And the guy is posting close-up shots of people. Anybody he disagrees with, he posts a close-up shot of him and tells him, you know, the hunt's coming, you know, get ready and good luck. You know, the game's on, good luck. And that's the thing. And he's called me the C word. He's called me all kinds of things. And even on Twitter, where supposedly, you know, things are getting better, is anybody getting investigated? Is anybody, you know, coming? No, because he's on the right side. He's on the liberal side. He's on the invade the street, burn down the city, gun-toting, child-murdering side, which supposedly is, I guess, the side that you're supposed to be on to get anything done. But when somebody's good and decent and kind and intelligent, they get beaten down. And I'm not even saying Trump's any of those things. And that's what I think is hilarious, because the minute they find out that I'm not buying the nonsense that's coming out, they start jacking off. Oh, they start fingering themselves. Oh, you listen to Fox News?
This is the adult portion of the show.
You're a Trump supporter. It's like, no, I'm not a Republican, never have been. I don't listen to Fox News, don't even own a television. I just watched the original speech, and he didn't say that. He didn't say that. I look, you know, they're saying, oh, you know, Trump said that he was going to reduce medical costs, and he didn't, but Biden did. No. I was alive during the Trump years, and medical costs did go down. Obama took it completely out of my grasp. I did not have medical coverage the entire time Obama was in office. I did for the brief time that Trump was in office. As soon as Biden got in, he reversed everything Trump did, and I've not had medical care since. And it's so far off the idea of possibility right now. You know, I can't even think about it.
Right.
You know,
right.
And so there's just because I know you're lying to me doesn't mean that I'm a sycophant of Trump. I don't like being lied to. And I don't have to be a Trump supporter. I don't have to be a Biden supporter. I don't have to be a Trump hater or a Biden hater to know I'm being lied to. And for you to sit here and try to gaslight me and say, well, this happened and this happened, when I know damn well it didn't, and I can watch it on video, or I was present, and I can tell you it did not happen. I can quote to you. I can show you beyond a reasonable doubt that it did not happen.
That doesn't have any weight anymore.
It doesn't have any bearing. These guys will believe anything. These are the people, like George Soros, that will tell you there are Jews in the attic. These are the people that will say, well, I can't be racist because I am a Jew. Oh, but there's Jews in the attic. These are the people that call a black man a white supremacist. These people are insane. These people think that a man can have children. That men can have periods. These people are crazy. And anybody who gives them even a moment's consideration is just letting the insane run the asylum. And I'm done. I've gotten to the point where if somebody starts calling me names and threatening me, I just reply, yawn. You know, you just get this copy-paste rhetoric that is so absolutely over-the-top crazy. It's like, I can't take you seriously. You're nuts. You're crazy. You know, either you're like a little tiny child throwing a temper tantrum. You know, you come out of the gate hurling insults, but you... And you know, then they try to gaslight you and say, oh, Republicans hate facts and logic. Okay, well, first of all, I'm not a Republican, so you've already lost. You're already calling me something I'm not. I'm not an eggplant. I'm not, you know, a picture frame, and I'm not a Republican. So calling me something completely unrelated to what I am doesn't help your argument. It just makes you look dumb. And then to sit there and say, oh, they don't like facts and logic, well, you haven't presented any. So, I mean, even your so-called science is all based on how you feel. And we are at an impasse. You know, I hate to be so black-pilled that I don't see a way out of this, but I really feel like we can't get back. Because we have people who are clinically insane. And they are taking over the real world now. We have a man in woman face who's winning Women of the Year. He's a grown-ass man with a dick and balls, okay? He is not a woman. He never will be. He cannot be. That is basic science. The sky is blue, water is wet, Dylan, what's his name, is a man. That god-awfully, hideous, ugly, fat man who is in office trying to tell us what to do with our health, who wants to mutilate children, that is a man, Mr. Levine. You are a man. You are an insane, cross-dressing, crazy-ass, child-hating, child-mutilating man. Why are these people allowed to be in charge?
Well, I just
because Republicans are pussies. End of rant.
And you were worried about us not having enough material for the show. Listen to you. Not to negate what she's saying.
I accidentally pressed the go ahead and post to YouTube button, so we're probably going to lose our channel again.
YouTube
can suck my non-existent balls because I am a woman.
So anyway, oh heavens, heavens, heavens! It's really interesting.
There were a lot of Christian listeners.
Yeah, hello. Look, all the gesticulating in the world and chopping against my neck and all this stuff isn't going to do nothing. I've gotten to the point where she's going to roll. Let her roll with it. If you're offended, I mean, I think the vast majority of you, if you are a true Christian, would agree with this point of view. I'm not.
I didn't swear.
Excuse me. You said...
Dick and balls is not swearing. Oh, I'm sorry. Penis and testicles. Let me lift my pinky. Me. That's not swearing.
Okay. Well,
no F-bombs. No S-bombs.
Not yet.
I didn't even use the G word.
God?
Ooh, that's worse than a swear word.
Anyway, thank you for listening to yet another... Ginger Snap. Ginger Snaps. Wait a minute. Before we do anything else, drop everything go right now.
Right this minute.
Right this minute.
I mean, don't
because
leave. Don't leave this.
You can do this while you're listening to the show. Go to counterculturewise.com. Go to our shop. Buy stuff. We put a lot of work. Well, okay, let's be totally blunt. Melanie puts a lot of work because I can't draw a stick figure to save my life. She's the artist. I come up with some
that is a very
ideas
loose translation
in my mind, and then she'll produce it. But basically, we put a lot of work into this, and please, we don't want to be wage slaves forever.
Like, share, subscribe, spread the news, share the wealth, let people know about our little podcast here. If you're listening live on Spreaker, come on and join us in chat. We love talking to our chat folk. If you're listening after the fact on whatever iTunes calls themselves now, I think
Apple Music, I think.
Don't know what it is anymore.
I don't know. We're not Apple people.
Or Spotify or any of the other places that
we're with the other satanic group, Google.
Yeah, those guys too. Wherever you can find the podcast, if you are there right now, give us a 1,000,000-star review.
Please.
Like, share, subscribe. Do all of the things. Thumbs up, hearts, stars, the whole bit. And you know what? If you don't like what we're saying, if you totally disagree with us, that's great too. There's a couple things you can do. Number one, contact us. Come on our show. Let's talk. Let's debate. If you can do it without name-calling and being a jerk, we would love to have you on the show. Number two,
We've done it before.
If
we'll
you
do it again.
just can't handle it and your fifis are hurt beyond repair, head on over to counterculturewise.com. Click on the tab that is the ID10T form. Go ahead and fill that out. Tell us everything that's on your chest, and we will give it the attention that it deserves.
We have gotten ID10T forms, and some of them have been tongue-in-cheek, and some of them have been like, really? Anyway, alrighty then. We started off about a guy with glasses, and then this suddenly turned into this. It went into crazy and wonderful places.
Men now want to access uterine transplants.
Here's
the thing. If you think that you were born in the wrong body, that is an atrocity to God, it's an atrocity to yourself, and you need mental health care. Trying to surgery yourself into or out of feeling different or better about yourself isn't going to work. People who hate themselves will never love themselves no matter what they do. No matter what they do, you can mutilate yourself until you die, and
Literally.
You will never feel better.
Yeah.
Until you learn to love yourself for who you are. I'm an old fat ginger with no teeth. And there are days I look in the mirror and I despise what I see. I'm gross. I'm ugly. I hate myself. But I also have to take the time to say, God made me. And while, I have all this joint pain and I'm old and all these other things, I made it this far. I'm here for a reason. I don't know what it is. I want to serve God's purpose. And I'm not going to say I'm going to love myself, but I am going to love others. And I think that's where we get totally confused, is we were not put on earth to love ourselves. And that is where our society has gone sideways. That is why people are so miserable. And don't get me wrong, I love me some Whitney Houston, but that song is terrible. The greatest love of all is not learning to love yourself. That is bull crap. That is bull honky. It's the worst thing. That's the second worst song after Imagine. And I love both of those songs. And for one thing, I'll say this about Imagine, because it's been brewing in my head for a while. John Lennon is one of the all-time great songwriters, an evocative singer. I think he genuinely believed what he believed, but I got to tell you... He was a limousine liberal.
Well, you said it for me. What I was going to say is it's kind of hard to imagine, if you will, a guy who rides around in a Bentley, owns this huge mansion, saying, imagine the possessions. Sure, babe.
Mm-hmm. You first.
Honestly.
And that's how I feel about this whole...
And it was also the... his humanistic outlook I no longer share. You know, he's been anti-Christianity, or was anti-Christianity pretty much from the mid-'60s anyway, when he did the "we're bigger than God" thing. And then,
okay, that was out of context, though.
Not necessarily,
In a
though.
way, he was right.
Well,
more people knew who the Beatles were than knew who Jesus was.
I get that, but
it was ironic. I don't think he meant it the way that they turned it
But then
into.
he did songs that were much more direct about it, like the song "God." And he specifically says in that line, "I don't believe in Jesus." And I mean, you know, imagine there's no heaven, imagine there's no hell, there's no religion,
if you
blah,
don't believe in
blah,
Jesus,
blah.
maybe you should strive not to look like him so much.
He did for a few years there, didn't he?
Yeah.
But I just don't like the song. It's like it. I used to love it.
Yeah.
I used to love the song, but
Well, I mean,
don't like it
really,
anymore.
It has a lovely, dreamy quality to it, but when you really listen to the lyrics, it's a socialist song, and socialism doesn't work.
Well, he also did a song called "Working Class Hero," which you've probably heard, and if you haven't, you can listen to it. Green Day covered it, you know. But it's like, he's not a working class hero, okay? He did come from the working class, but by the time he was singing "Working Class Hero," he was one of the best known people in the world, had a lot of money, maybe not as much as you might think, but he had a lot of money. He was influential. You know, I mean, maybe in his final moments, he might have come to Jesus. I don't know. I don't know that. But it's just that. All I really wanted to say was the hypocrisy of being a millionaire singing "Imagine No Possessions." It's like,
right. Well,
that's not even
hypocrisy
limousine liberal. That's way past it.
Of being a millionaire saying, "Learn to love yourself," and then you commit suicide in a bathtub. It's like, you know, look at who you're getting advice from. But this whole movement, this me first movement, this I have to love myself first, you know, and I'm sorry, there's a lot of people out there that I love and respect, and people in my immediate circle, you know, you are enough, you are perfect the way you are. No, that's not why we're here. We are not here to serve ourselves. We are not here to love ourselves. Any moron can do that. Any moron can do that. What's happening is you have a God-sized hole that you're trying to stuff with genital mutilation and rage and burning down cities.
Don't forget drugs and alcohol.
And you know, sexual pleasure and all these other things, because you hate yourself, because you've been told your whole life that you're supposed to love yourself the way you are. That's not how that works. When you are focused on yourself all the time, you will be miserable, because that is not what we're here for.
We're not wired that way. We're simply not wired that way.
And that is not why we're here. Yeah. And that was one of the hardest lessons I ever had to learn, and it's still more profound, and I have to remind myself of this, because I do get negative.
I do too.
I get negative, and it's hard, because it is hard to look in the mirror and see the wrinkles and the age and the things changing, and I have to remind myself, I'm not here for me.
My head's turning into a landing strip. I'm not thrilled.
Sweetie, it's not a strip. It's more like a parking lot.
So now I'm buzz cutting my life, you know. Just,
hey, you're back to your old Marine days.
Yeah, so I don't mind. I mean, yeah, it's like, oh, Jim, you've got diabetes. Meh. Oh, Jim, you've got a heart condition. Meh. Oh, Jim, this person or that person passed on. Meh. You're going bald.
What's funny, though, is that you were starting when I met you, so
I know.
don't know you any other way.
I know, but it's like I can no longer grow my hair to a sufficient height that it covers it. It's like, after a while...
comb over. You can't comb over when you have a Jew-fro. It doesn't work.
This moment of racism was brought to you by... Well, it's... So, yeah, it was... I finally just decided, you know, I'm not going to hide this anymore. So I made a couple of goofy posts about it on Facebook, and it's what my adoptive father was bald. Oh, yeah? In fact, always, the whole time I knew him up until the day he passed on.
Telly Savalas bald?
Oh, he had the sides, but he's bald on the top.
Like pointy-haired boss bald?
No, he didn't have... Well, okay, I guess, but without the points. But he never had a problem. In fact, almost every bald guy I know has a haughty girlfriend / wife. It's not a big deal. My dad used to put... Well, of course. My dad put it this way. It's a solar panel for a sex machine. And I know.
I like it.
I like it.
That works for me.
So, yeah. So I know what you're talking about, in other words.
When do those batteries charge, Jim?
We'll work on it. I'm working.
Must be those Tesla batteries that are always blowing up.
But yeah, I'm saying that just in regards to, I know you look in the mirror and you're not what you were 10 years ago.
And what's really sad, though, is 10 years ago I hated myself then, too.
Well, I mean,
and I wish I could be as fat as I thought I was in high school.
You were a hottie in high school.
I hated myself. I thought I was
ugly. I mean, that's
hideous because I was listening to the world and I was focusing
something,
on me.
And that goes back to your main point. It's like,
that's not what we're here for.
I mean, take care of yourself. Don't despise it. Don't like allow yourself to go to pot. But
you're still. I mean, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're no good to anybody else. And that's the thing, is people are miserable because we have been telling everybody to focus on yourself. And
that's
yourself.
A big part of the New Age philosophy.
And now we're at this thing where, if I'm 600 pounds with, pierced nose and blue dyed hair, you're supposed to accept me and find me attractive no matter what. No. That's not how that works.
Although there's probably somebody in this big wide world who would find that attractive.
That's not the point. The point is...
Not the point.
Your character, what you do for others is what matters. What you look like, not that important, but we're trying to make that the most important thing. I grew up not giving a rat's patootie what color your skin was. And now I'm being told that I am a white supremacist if I don't care what color you are. How does that make any sense?
Well, you don't have to make sense. You just have to scream and cry louder than everybody else.
And I see a person that I like, that I can be friends with, and we can joke and jab with each other. Why would I care how dark you can tan? It's stupid. I don't care. And apparently, that makes me racist now. It's clown world. It's upside down. It's backwards.
It's bizarro world.
And you know what it is? They got everything they wanted. You have civil rights. You have everything you wanted, and now they don't have anything to rail against. They had to make crap up. That's why we see so many hoax hate things. The backwards swastikas and Jussie Smollett and all of that, because they don't have anything left. It's not the racist dysphoria that they're coming up with. So they're inventing things. And it's pathetic. It's like, why can't you just be happy? Why can't you go out there and make the world a better place? Why is it all about you? Well, it's
By the way, sweetheart, it's not. And by sweetheart, I'm not referring to my wife. I'm talking to you in general, Snooky. That's just how 'tis. God loves you.
You ever seen those Spanish word of the day posts?
No.
You never seen that one? Like, it's nacho cheese?
Okay, yeah, I've seen that, yeah. Well,
today's word is Budweiser.
Budweiser.
Mm-hmm. He says he's a woman, but why is there's Adam's apple so big? Thanks to chat.
We have some more to discuss regarding all this.
Okay, but let's do some more good news before we head out, because I don't want to spend the entire time raging.
Oh, but come on, it's entertaining to listen to you rage.
Well, it's entertaining to you.
Well, not
Might
always,
not be entertaining to everybody.
But
By the way, props to my hubby for giving me an awesome Easter basket. That's officially a tradition now.
Yes.
So last year was a sucky, terrible, awful. Well, the year before last year. Sucky, awful, terrible, no good, very bad year. And we decided that last year we were going to make up for it by over celebrating everything. We had an amazing anniversary. We did pretty good for Christmas. He got me an Easter basket. We did green beer and St. Pat, the whole thing, everything. And so some of those traditions have carried on. I like to over-celebrate every day. But, we're a little more low-key this year because things are better and we're kind of settled down and we got puppies and the whole bit.
Yeah.
But I still really wanted an Easter basket. And
She made that clear.
And did Mr. Bunny ever deliver? So he did a good job. So props to the
Thank
hubby
you.
for a very good Easter basket.
And I also didn't eat a donut today.
That's true. You walked right past the donuts. Right past
And
them.
I didn't sneak one.
But you still got an Easter ham.
I got a delicious Easter ham. And
since we're trying to not make him more diabetic, I kind of invented a glaze for the ham that did not involve sugar. And if I do say so myself, I think it turned out pretty good.
It had kind of an almost Indian taste to it. It had like
brown spicy mustard and cumin and a little bit of Worcester.
It had a bit of a
pepper.
kick to it, but it was delicious. I mean, absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
And, at first it was like, well, we could always do sugar substitutes like Splenda, and Melanie put her foot down and said,
I don't
no.
want the chemicals.
Yeah.
So, I made a blue cheese dressing from scratch. Got blue cheese and buttermilk and everything. And we're going to be doing a lot more of that. I want to eat cleaner. And as we go forward, I mean, it's going to be harder to afford. But something I've seen, and I don't know if you notice this or not, when you eat cleaner, you eat less. You don't feel like you need as much.
No, it's true. It's true. You eat a lot of processed stuff. Let's say you eat a TV dinner. And I've eaten more than my share of those
TV
back in the day. And by the, 2 hours later, I'm starving to death because
we have true fans in chat. They wanted to know if the Easter ham was blessed by Rabbi Yetzi.
Wow!
I need to run
that. That goes back a while. Holy crowley!
I'll have to run that one.
That's Rabbi Yotzi.
I'll have to run that one. We haven't run that one in a long time.
That's our old buddy Chris.
That was one of our
did
very first called it's too, because there is now kosher pork.
Yeah. Manufactured, but there it is anyway. Yeah, it's crazy. We called a lot of things, but anyway. Wow, thanks for the memory. I'd almost forgotten about that one. But yeah, I want to lose weight for
ads.
Yeah. So let's continue with the good news of Weird and Wonderfuel. All right. Now this is more up Melanie's avenue than mine.
Science and kids, yes. All right, this comes out of New Orleans. It takes a special kind of student to outsmart 2,000 years of mathematics. And at St. Mary's Academy, they have 2. Calcia Johnson and Nakia Jackson just gave a presentation to the American Mathematical Society's annual Southeastern Conference. They say they proved Pythagoras' theorem can be proven with trigonometry, something that many thought was impossible. Well, I never thought that was impossible. I think I've actually done that with a student. It might not surprise you to hear they were the only high school students in the room. It's really an unparalleled feeling, honestly, because there's just nothing like being able to do something that people don't think young people can do. Yeah, they're pretty young to even know what trig is. A lot of times you see this stuff, you don't see kids like us doing it, said Kelsia. If you need a refresher on Pythagorean theory, you're not alone. I don't, but I'll do that for the benefit of our listeners. Trig is based on Pythagorean. So let's say you draw a line on a plane, and you want to find the distance between the 2 dots that you do that line with. But you can't really count the boxes that it's crossed because it's kind of like a diagonal. So you use a distance theory, which is basically Pythagorean rewritten. So if you go down from the top and over from the bottom and meet it, you'll create a right triangle. And right triangles have these amazing properties that you can basically, quote, solve, end quote, a triangle by using this amazing simple formula that has been rearranged in multiple different ways, including the distance formula. But you're probably familiar with a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Or my favorite joke of all time. Usually they say the sum of the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sums of the squares of the other 2 sides. But I don't know why they say the sums. But anyways. my joke, which is funny. Should I tell it?
Sure, I guess.
Only my math kids get it. So.
Well, I mean.
So this goes way back to the birth of America, where Indian squaws. Are we allowed to call them squaws anymore? I don't know. What are we? What can we call them?
I don't know.
Anyways, back in the day, they were called squaws. I don't know what we're allowed to call them now, but 3 of them, they were sisters. They were pregnant together, and the first one, when she went into labor, she laid down on a bear hide and had a son, and everybody rejoiced, and the tribe was jubilant. And the second one, when she was ready, she laid down on a buffalo hide and had a son, and of course the whole village cheered because that's great. And the third one, I don't know where she got it, but she laid down on a hippopotamus hide and had twin sons, which really blew the minds of the entire tribe, and just goes to show you that the sons of the squaw of the hippopotamus are equal to the sons of the squaws of the other 2 hides. See, it only works
the next sound you'll hear will be me blowing my brains out.
I think I've got the wah-wah.
Yeah, please do the wah-wah. I'm begging for the wah-wah. That's actually the best joke I've heard in a while, but you know.
Thank you. I'm here all week. Okay. All right, so they're using trigonometry to prove Pythagorean's theorem. They say, so using that is what's known as circular logic. The idea can't prove itself. Kind of does, though. What they were able to do is find a way to prove the theory using trigonometry without circular logic, something mathematicians have been trying to do for nearly 2,000 years. I really want to see the calculations, but they don't show it.
That'll probably take more up our show and next week's show.
Well, I'm going to be looking this up because I want to see how they did it.
Okay.
And if you're wondering how 2 high school seniors figure something like this out, well, it all starts with teachers who challenge them to do the impossible. Finally, teachers that are actually teaching. Our slogan is no excellence without hard labor, so they definitely push us. Kelsey has said, we have really great teachers, Nakia added. And even if you don't understand their math, it's easy to see that with the right push, students can do the impossible. So that's pretty cool. I'll be looking up the how they did it. I'd be interested to see how they do that.
A stranded giant Pacific octopus was returned to the sea on March 15th thanks to the quick thinking of a girl, her family, and a group of researchers in Skagit County, Washington State.
Oh, our old stomping grounds.
The octopus became stranded on the beach as the tide retreated at Bayview State Park. Fortunately for the large cephalopod, got it. A Vancouver family visiting the beach spotted the struggling creature and alerted Ranger Brandon Hextra about the octopus, which was about 200 feet from the water. Hextra then called staff at the Padilla Bay National Estuarine Research Reserve for assistance. I didn't realize there'd be this many big words.
Gasping for breath and dying to death while he's making phone calls. Sorry, I'm way over here.
The healthy, vibrant octopus was able to survive out of the water until more help arrived thanks to the girl's quick action to use her sand bucket to pour water over the cephalopod. Said it the right way this time. An octopus, why they didn't call it that in the last paragraph, I don't know, can't survive out of water for more than several minutes. It collapses their gills, said Annie England, a scientist with Washington Department of Ecology. This octopus was not making much headway as its body weight was too heavy outside its usual aquatic environment. Additionally, the tide was going out, leaving the octopus a great distance from the water. The octopus likely weighed 800 to 100
The pictures do not do it justice.
Yeah, it's gigantic. It's 7 to 8 feet long.
It's bigger than Allie. 80 to 100 pounds? Good Lord.
Giant Pacific octopuses are the largest octopus species in the world.
And they're the coolest, too.
England Mirrolets of the reserve and volunteer Sean Petersmark were able to get the octopus into a large bin and push it to the water, where it slowly crept out and returned to the ocean. England said what the girl did was the best thing someone can do if they ever encounter an octopus in a similar situation. Never try to move it or touch it, pour seawater on it, and call a local aquarium or organization that you know works with marine animals to help rescue the animal.
I'm glad they didn't try to drag it out because they could have harmed it. So she did the exact right thing. Wow, I wish the pictures were better because I had no idea this thing was as big.
Yeah, they are huge. Their head's even bigger than mine. I mean, it's big.
And these things are really clever. They're very intelligent. There was one at the aquarium that kept letting itself out of its tank.
Right.
All right. 4-year-old boy becomes the youngest person to publish a book.
Ooh.
A United Arab Emirates boy became the world's youngest person to publish a book at the early age of 4 years and 218 days. Boy, those 218 days really are important. Now remember, how old are you? 4 and a half. Nowadays, they're like, how old are you?
There is a reason they put the number there.
Guinness World Records, another one, said Saeed Rashid Al-Nahari was 4 years and 218 days when he published his book, The Elephant, Saeed, and the Bear. I wonder who did the drawings, because it definitely wasn't him. This is some top-notch drawings. The record was verified when the book sold 1,000 copies. Al-Mari, whose book is about kindness and friendship, said he was inspired by his sister Al-Habi, who
that's why I said
World
that.
Records title for youngest person to publish a bilingual book, female, and youngest person to publish a bilingual book series, female. Apparently, being female has something to do with it. I love my sister so much, and I enjoy playing with her all the time, the younger brother told GWR.
But I had to win.
We read, write, draw, and do so many activities together. I wrote my book inspired by her, as I felt that I could have my own books too. Yay, sister! That's adorable.
Hey, sister, go, sister, soul, sister, go.
Cute. What a cutie pie. He's got hair that you used to have.
Oh, well, before the landing strip / parking lot /
You say landing strip, and I think of how women shave their...
Oh, yeah, well,
yeah,
that's a different kind of landing
like
strip.
Yours is more like a helicopter...
Pad, a helipad?
Yeah. A helipad, yeah.
That's all right, whatever. It's just amazing how that one spot is so incredibly shiny compared to the rest of me.
It is quite shiny.
It's very shiny. It's a beacon in the night,
You should quit waxing it. Oh,
yeah.
You know what? I could take a Sharpie and draw the bat signal on it.
That's something you do to somebody on April Fool's Day after they've fallen asleep or fallen down drunk or something.
At all. It's so funny, too, because I think he was expecting it all day long, and when I didn't do anything, that was the biggest April Fool's of all, because he's like,
Well, I didn't do it to her either, because she doesn't like any more than I do.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I can appreciate a good April Fool's Day joke.
The more elaborate they are, the better.
Yeah.
All right, one last story.
All right, now this is fun for you fans of the TV show The Office. I haven't watched it fanatically like some people have, but it's a fun show. 2 The Office fans were getting married and asked the videographers to film their day in the style of their favorite show. Justin Dowling and Anne Claire Crawford decided to plan a surprise wedding and told family and friends they would be getting married at the courthouse, but they invited them to their engagement party, which was actually their wedding day. They hired Virtue Real Productions, great name, to film their special day, but had an unusual request, a mockumentary-style wedding video. The Office is our favorite TV series. Justin and I have a tradition that every Christmas day we watch every Christmas episode of The Office.
Oh, cute.
Crawford told Insider. We are constantly quoting it, and our absolute favorite episode of the series is Jim and Pam's wedding. Virtue Real Productions has posted a trailer of their wedding day to TikTok and YouTube, which has collected thousands of views over the last few days. In the video, Dowling and Crawford are interviewed before guests arrive. They have Dundees at the reception, and guests were interviewed the Office style throughout the night. Justin, John, and I gave them a list of questions to ask the guests, and they interviewed them throughout the night, Crawford said. Virtue Real Productions said they plan to release the full episode on social media once it's finished.
Cute.
That would be a lot of fun.
Now I'll have to check it out, see how it went.
Yeah. All right, well, we are going to play an old favorite. It's not that old, but we recorded it a few months ago and decided this was a perfect sketch to play on Easter Sunday. So we once again present Bob the Apostle.
Bob the Disciple.
Tonight on the Ancient History Network, we present the world premiere of The Legend of Bob, the 13th Disciple. Brought to you by Hector and Grumble, the makers of Cope mouthwash. And now, The Legend of Bob, the 13th Disciple. Sitting on top of a hill in ancient Israel, the man known as Jesus is teaching his disciples. he imparts his godly wisdom by way of parables.
Suppose a woman has 10 silver coins and loses one. Doesn't she light a lamp, sweep the house, and search carefully until she finds it? And when she finds it, she calls her friends and neighbors together and says, "Rejoice with me, I have found my lost coin." In the same way, I tell you, there is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. You have a question, Bob?
Yes, teacher. Why would she have lost the coin?
What?
Why didn't she keep it in her purse with the rest of them?
My son, that is not the point.
And why would she tell her neighbors that she found the coin, or that she even lost it in the first place? Isn't she afraid that they might try to steal them, or think she's some kind of fool for losing it? I mean, how much are those coins worth anyway that she would make such a big fuss out of it?
Oh, boy. Listen, I'll explain it to you later, all right? Anyway, do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, "Let me take the speck out of your eye," when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Yes, Bob?
How in the world would someone have an entire plank in their eye? Someone must have bashed their whole face in with it.
My son, I am speaking figuratively.
And how do you take a speck of sawdust out of someone's eye? Who in the world would stand still and keep their eyes open long enough for you to do that? I'm getting squirmy just thinking about it.
In time you will understand. I must move on for now. The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it.
Another question, Rabbi.
Yes, Bob?
Why would they sell everything? I mean, you can't live in a pearl.
You need not take everything so literally, Bob.
And why would you hide a treasure after you took all of that trouble to find it in the first place? He makes as much sense as the woman with the coins.
If you have any further questions, Bob, keep them for afterwards, and I will be happy to answer them. A farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no roots. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still other seeds fell on good soil, where it produced a crop, 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown. Whoever has ears, let them hear. What is it, Bob?
Well, he doesn't seem like much of a farmer if only 1/4 of the seeds were planted properly. The man who hid the treasure might have been a dummy, but at least he knew how to work the soil.
Now, Bob...
Heck, that woman with the coins had more sense.
Tell you what, Bob. Why don't you and Judas go to the store and get me some bread and wine?
Why's it gotta be me?
You know very well why, Judas.
Oh, all right. Come on, Bob. All right, Judas. See you later, guys.
Thomas, do you think Bob is ever going to stop taking me literally?
I doubt it.
Well, I hate to do this, but... Matthew, do you think you could, leave Bob out of the narrative?
Way ahead of you, Lord.
Next on the Ancient History Channel, we celebrate the return of Mollusk Week, where we dive deep into the fearsome unknowns of our invertebrate friends. Tonight's show is brought to you in part by Hector and Grumble. No, really.
At Hector and Grumble, we want to let the world know we care
and care deeply about the world and our future as human beings. As a result, we have bowed to the whims of a tiny but very loud minority of our customers. We set the tone last year with our now famous ad for our Galoot shaving products division, Men Suck. The response was overwhelming. But we ignored it and doubled down with an ad featuring a trans child using our product to shave the teeny-weeny patches of peach fuzz off of their face. We realized that this basically could have been accomplished with a butter knife and soap, and due to our our stand on this issue, we have lost billions of dollars in profits for our shareholders over the past year. But hey, it's only money. It's the principle after all. Not to be outdone this year, we are removing the Venus symbol from the packaging of our sometimes feminine hygiene products as a result of protesting from transgender activists. We know they will never be able to use our products, but at Hector and Grumble, it's always the optics. So what about our future plans for your favorite Hector and Grumble brands? Well, we have an exciting announcement. Our Gloom electric toothbrushes and our famous line of Crust toothpastes will no longer emphasize their whitening power in our ads because, after all, whitening power is racist. You heard it here first, folks. Hector and Grumble wants to be your consumer products company, but we want to be liked even more. Will you like us? Please and thank you.
In this digital society, making connections is quickly becoming a lost art form. Yet, if you are a small business owner, building your network is the only way you can get ahead. Can these skills be learned? You bet they can. Read Nose to Nose Networking. No-nonsense, in-person networking tips from a master. Who's the master? Well, who better to teach networking and friend-building skills than a golden retriever? The author, Melanie Hope, takes the antics of Abigail and translates them into the human experience. Through Abby, you will learn how to set your intention, build a network, and get into and out of conversations with grace. If you love the Dog Abby segments on our show, you will love Nose to Nose Networking even more. Find it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, in hard copy or on Kindle or Nook. Visit counterculturewise.com for direct links.
Life has become so much more complex these days, and we know there are days when you want to forget about everything. We have the answer. Inspired by one of the paragons of our political world, we are proud to introduce Biden Beers. Whether you choose our creepy cream ale, our quid pro porter, our sleepy stout, or our hair sniffer hefeweizen, you will know that you are drinking beer brewed by the finest bots in the world, using only the best barley, hops, and chloroform. One taste and you will wonder why Biden Beer was missing from your life. 2 tastes and you will wonder where your pants are. When you want to forget it all just like Joe does, treat yourself to a nice cold Biden. Biden Brewery Company, Kiev, Ukraine.
Yeah, I get it. Your parents were jerks and you're traumatized. But that doesn't mean you should use your lousy childhood as an excuse to be a lousy adult. Stop being such a whiner and get past your past already. Buy Get Over It and Get Started, the book by Melanie Hope that will get you out of your self-imposed failure and on the road to greatness. Available in paperback, Kindle, and Nook.
I was living an ideal life with an amazing family, a good job, and lots of friends. I was also a peaceful patriot who loved my country. I woke up every day to be grateful to be an American. But then I realized my life was so good it was almost fictional. I mean, my life made so much sense that it stopped making sense, you know what I mean? Then a friend told me about Libtardium.
Introducing Libtardium, a treatment for severe rationality and excessive common sense. I'm generally a decent guy, and most people who know me really like me. But one day I realized I lacked passion in my life. Then my wife told me about Libtardium, and let me tell you, the passion has returned with a vengeance. Hasn't it, honey?
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Patriarchal dunderhead.
Libtardium controls the neurons that promote excessive reasoning while stimulating the ones that trigger emotions. One dose of Libtardium is as effective as watching 16 hours of cable news.
I'm Senator Wish-Wash. I was a die-hard conservative until I decided that principles don't win elections. 1 week's treatment of Libtardium was enough to smooth my edges, become more relatable to the press and the electorate, and it made me your senator. Libtardium changed my life, and it can change yours.
Excessive exposure to Libtardium can cause sweats, dizziness, foaming at the mouth, and severe loss of IQ. Patients have reported inability to control their temper, as well as excessive and loud use of the term "re." Use of Libtardium can trigger psychotic reactions to MAGA hats and Candace Owens. Avoid Libtardium at family gatherings, ball games, churches, coffee shops, the Lincoln Memorial, Walmart, NRA meetings, car dealerships, French restaurants, tourist buses, shopping malls, social media, movie theaters, gymnasiums, airports, mosques, Christian bakeries, plant nurseries, nursery schools, and nurses' stations. Please consult your doctor if the stupid lasts for more than 24 hours. Use of Libtardium is not advised on Chicago streets during polar vortexes. Ask your local Democratic Party office if Libtardium is right for you.
Hello, my fans and loyal listeners. This is Maximilian von Riegelbieser for the Counterculture-Wise News and Variety Show, asking you to help you by supporting us. My interview program, my sister Fritzy's intrepid field reporting, and Abby's advice, along with Mumsy and Father's talk show, are all 100% funded by amazing people like you. Visit our website to toss us a tip or subscribe for less than $1 a day for extra goodies like outtakes, special deals, and first dibs on new videos. Also on our website, you will find amazing books written by Mumsy and merchandise gracing the handsome visage of yours truly. Support our operation by going to counterculturewise.com and click on the shop or support buttons. You will be glad you did. And so will I.
This sometimes makes it into our ad reel because, we don't actually have any sponsors, but since our chat brought it up, we are playing an oldie but a goodie.
Are you sick of sitting out Easter dinner or getting stuck with salad? Are you tired of having bacon and eggs without the bacon? Do you wish you could sink your chops into some pork chops? At Verstucken Farms, we feel your pain. Introducing the world's first kosher pork, blessed by me, Rabbi Yutzi. It's good, I promise. Would I steer you wrong? Whether it's Tookish or Snook, you're gonna love Verstucken Farms kosher pork. I eat it all the damn time.
Special thanks to Chris for voicing.
The amazing Chris Weidman.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite Ash.
Everybody's favorite Ash. Man, did he embody that role.
Yeah, he was my buddy in Evil Dead the Musical. He was the star of the show, and deservedly so. He was like the second of a long series of actors to play that part in the almost 10-year run of Evil Dead the Musical.
Much like Pierce Bronson was genetically engineered to be Bond, Chris was genetically engineered
to be Ash. He looked the part.
Yeah.
And he nailed the persona of
he really
Bruce
did.
Campbell. Very, very much.
I don't even know where he's at these days. But dude's incredibly talented, so I know he does stand up and
he
things
and
like
his
that.
lovely partner, I don't know if they ever got married or not, but
Gosh, I hate losing touch with people.
yeah, well, they've got their lives. I mean, I've fallen off the face of the earth more than once,
They're just so brilliant. You'd think you'd see them all over the place, though. Both of them just creative and brilliant and amazing. So hopefully we'll reconnect because I'd love to have them on the show again.
Absolutely. Find out what they've been up to.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's slip on into nice things. But before we go, let's check in with Chuck.
And now, CCW News presents Holy Crap! This is actually happening. Laying an Easter Egg Edition 2023. I'm Chuck U. Farley. In the absolute nothing burger department, Bragg bragged about his trumped-up Trump charges, declaring they could literally be over nothing, including burgers. I just report them, folks. I don't write them. Given that only 0 evidence misdemeanors were presented and a single transaction was charged 34 times, it stands to reason that folks wondered if there were indeed any actual crimes worth breaking 246 years of precedent for. Bragg bragged that of course he had lots of absolutely terrible things to charge the president with, but he couldn't be bothered to tell the U.S. public, the press, or even the defendant himself what these crimes were because, quote, the law does not so require, end quote. Well, the law may not, sir, but that pesky Sixth Amendment does. Twitter added a state-affiliated media label to the propaganda broadcasting service, and for some reason, they're big mad. The nation of Finland joined NATO. Nobody but Finland noticed or cared. After LSU won the championships, they were customarily invited to the White House. But after fake media outrage over a completely innocuous hand gesture and a ridiculous comment from Dr. Jill Biden, who wanted the mostly white losing team to come as well, it all turned sour grapes and, of course, race baiting. LSU star player Angel Reese led the rest of her team in declining the offer, citing that they'd rather visit former President Obama because he had more in common with them than Biden, such as actually having won their respective titles. In honor of National Women's Month, Anheuser-Busch, Jack Daniels, Nike, and Tampax are all featuring the same overly flamboyant, narcissistic grown man openly mocking women. The Country Music Awards included other drag queens in their performances. The Biden cabal proposed an unconstitutional ban on states outlawing men beating the snot out of women in sports, and USA Today named another mentally ill man as one of their Women of the Year. I swear, I am not making this up. On Thursday, the Biden regime released a 12-page dissertation blaming Trump for the Afghanistan debacle. There hasn't been a worse pullout since Hunter knocked up that stripper. For CCW News, this has been Holy Crap, This is Actually Happening. I'm Chuck U. Farley. Good night, and may God help us.
Now, see, that's why we can't have nice things.
That's an awful lot of noise.
Welcome to the Communist Socialist Republic of New York. I've been meaning to read this story for a while. I know this isn't in the nice things, but this one, this went down a couple weeks ago. And we never got to talk about it, and I really think we need to.
This is under New Abnormal.
I know it is.
Okay. Sorry.
That's why I said all of the things that I just said.
1,000 apologies. 1,000 pardons. It's okay.
Yeah. All right. Like I said, I've been wanting to talk about this for several weeks, and we keep skipping this, and I think it needs to be talked about. A court convicted... Okay. Now, before we get started, this is in an incredibly left-leaning publication, so you're going to hear a lot of just insane rhetoric. And I did this on purpose to show just how stupid they're painting this. It's crazy. A court convicted a far-right influencer for trying to keep Clinton supporters from voting in 2016. Ricky Vaughn faces up to 10 years in prison and is set to be sentenced on August 16th. The DOJ accused the influencer of encouraging people to vote by text or social media. So basically, he posted the same meme that everybody has posted on every election since even before social media was a thing, which is either, you know, you don't have to go to the ballot box, you can vote by text, or, oh, okay, everybody, Republicans vote on Tuesday and Democrats will vote on Wednesday. And the Democrats have done it, everybody's done it, they did it in the election before. They have done it since time immemorial, but all of a sudden, because, you know, hard drive smashing Hillary was the target, this guy's actually getting convicted for something just ridiculous. So a jury convicted, they keep calling a far-right influencer, which is stupid, Ricky Vaughn in a federal court in New York on Friday for a plot to deprive Hillary Clinton supporters of their ability to vote. No. He wasn't depriving anybody of anything. If you're so dang dumb that you fall for an internet joke, the same internet joke that both sides have done, like I said, every season. If you're that stupid, you don't deserve to vote. So Vaughn, whose real name is Douglas Mackey, was convicted on one count of, quote-unquote, conspiracy against rights.
What row?
He faces up to 10 years in prison for posting a frickin' meme.
Indeed.
Prosecutors accused Mackey of conspiring with other people to post disinformation relevant to the impending 2016 presidential election on social media, often in the form of memes, according to a criminal complaint. Why this saw a day in court, I will never understand. As the 2016 presidential election approached, Mackey and his co-conspirators created posts on various social media sites that encouraged people to vote for their preferred candidate by posting a specific hashtag on Twitter or Facebook by texting the candidate's first name to a specific phone number, the document states. So what they're saying is he deprived Clinton voters of their right to vote. That somehow deprived them of their rights.
So posting a sarcastic meme is now denying people their rights.
Yeah. I mean, is that the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard?
Well, there's more ridiculous, but yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
According to the DOJ, that has now been weaponized against, well, we the people, Mackey, who had tweeted about limiting the amount of black turnout in the election, posted a photo of a black woman in front of an African Americans for Hillary sign that read, "Avoid the line, vote from home. Text Hillary to 59925. On or around Election Day in 2016, at least 4,900 telephone numbers texted Hillary. Okay, that's 4,900 morons who, thank God, aren't voting, and I pray to God, aren't breeding. But that didn't deprive them of anything. That didn't deprive them of anything.
They still had the right to vote. They didn't. They just were dumb.
Mackey and his co-conspirators variously discussed aspects of these memes, including their content, their formatting, and the timing of their release, and expressed a desire that the memes would influence behavior of those who saw them. The complaint says. So?
Yeah.
Honestly, if you're that damn dumb, I don't care. My heart is not bleeding for you. You weren't deprived anything. If you had two brain cells to rub together, you would have just laughed at this and then gone and voted. Mackey had amassed about 58,000 followers on Twitter in 2016, according to the DOJ. The MIT Media Lab, in a 2016 study, ranked him the 107th most important influencer of the 2016 presidential election. Mackey's attorney, Andrew Frisk, told Insider that he is optimistic about his client's chances to appeal the conviction, so since then he was indeed convicted, and that the Second U.S. Circuit Court Judge of Appeals in Manhattan will have multiple reasons to overturn it. Oh yeah, let's trust Manhattan Court. Breon Peace, U.S. Attorney for the East District of New York, meanwhile, said in a press release that the verdict proves that the defendant's fraudulent actions crossed a line into criminality and flatly rejects his cynical attempt to use the constitutional right of free speech as a shield for his scheme to subvert the ballot box and suppress the vote.
Oh, please.
Honest to God, if you are that damn dumb, I don't want you voting. I don't want you voting. We need to make voting a privilege again. Do you know that voting is not a constitutional right? It's not even in the Constitution.
I had no idea. But I was listening to a discussion online today that made a lot of sense. I mean, you should be registered to vote if you sign up for selective service.
Yeah, and that's the way it used to be. And then, women's suffrage came in, and for some reason, women get special treatment and they don't have to sign up, but they still get to vote. How is that fair? I thought you wanted equality.
Can't have it both ways, although Lord knows they'll try. Okay, this story is the one that ticks me off more than any other story this week, and it is emblematic of the absolute self-centered stupidity of social media. They're influencers. Listen to this one. A TikToker who recorded a Canadian dad being fatally stabbed in front of his daughter and fiancé at a Starbucks is facing backlash after he allegedly took a selfie next to the victim's body and smiled while filming the horrifying scene. Alex Bodger, great name, shot a sickening video of Paul Stanley Schmidt being attacked outside the Vancouver coffee shop on Sunday after asking his alleged assailant to not vape in front of his 3-year-old daughter, the Toronto Sun reported. Bodger, who goes by Gora Pakora, no reason why, on TikTok, appeared to smirk when he shot the unfolding incident, according to the news outlet.
Sicko.
This mother blimmin' just died, bro. He just died, bro. Holy, I'm cleaning up the language.
Yeah.
He exclaimed, drawing the wrath.
The sad thing is this guy has followers. There's people that voluntarily
Watch this dimwit.
This garbage.
Anyway, drawing the wrath of people who slammed him for capitalizing on... And he looks totally stupid also, by the way. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't. Every picture of him, he has this goofy-looking smirk on him. This is the TikTok generation. I fear for a disgusting future, one Twitter user wrote. Another wrote, I was so disgusted by his actions and words that I honestly was speechless. No emotion, period. But Bodger told Global News he was traumatized by the event, which is why you've taped it in front of Jesus. Anyway, it's not something you think you would...
You were traumatized.
It's not something you think you would see walking down the street in Vancouver on a Sunday.
He's all excited and
yeah.
his eyes
Oh, yeah.
like he's smiling.
Yeah. Every time I think about the situation, I get this feeling in my chest, which is pure fear. But according to one Twitter user, Bodger also took a selfie next to the victim's body and even returned the following day to smoke at the crime scene. Don't get lung cancer, whatever you do. Did I say that out loud? Anyway.
Is lung cancer.
The man later, I call him a man, well, that's a stretch, later posted a video in which he tried to explain his actions. You know, sometimes you just need to shut up and stop. Mm-hmm. Really. Saying he tends to smile during uncomfortable situations. That's not an uncomfortable situation. Mm-hmm. That's more than... Never mind. Self-centered twit. So, like, I'm walking down the road. I thought I see a street light, so I start running over there. I start videotaping, and I see some blood, and so I just thought maybe there was a bloody nose or something, man. He says in the video, like, my brain wasn't allowing me to believe what was happening, and I knew he was dead, but at the same time, my first ever experiencing this, right? So, like, my brain is just like, he's dead, so I start screaming, Bodger says. The murderer is like standing right there. All that's going through my head is like, holy, I'm standing right here screaming he's dead. What if he comes at me and kills me? Anyway, but I'm in so much shock. I wasn't going to say it. I left it to you because I knew you wouldn't let me down. Bodger then goes on to explain his controversial smile. And
that was a look of pure joy.
Yeah, he was. Oh wow! I get a scoop on this. Is what he was saying, whether he realizes it or not. I was so uncomfortable. I didn't know what happened. That's just how I always am in uncomfortable situations. I put a little bit of a smile on my face. I'm sorry for the people that it pissed off. TikToker then bizarrely goes on to say...
TikTok is cancer.
Yeah, well, anyway. The TikToker then bizarrely goes on to say, it doesn't faze me too much. I'll just say human life to me, the way I look at it, if I don't know you, is meaningless. He's dead. What can we do now? The suspect, 32-year-old...
penis and...
What a sphincter head. Okay. Anyway, the suspect, 32-year-old Indragaba Singh Gosa, was arrested outside the Starbucks and was charged with second-degree murder. Schmidt's mother, Kathy Schmidt, said she was told the suspect attacked her son after he asked him not to vape in front of 3-year-old Erica. The 37...
This jackhole is blowing toxic chemicals on a baby And dude just like, hey, could you not do that? So he stabs him to death. This is what you've created, TikTok. This is the TikTok generation. And while this guy's getting stabbed to death...
Some schmo is in videoing the whole thing.
Look at me!
Look at me! Draw attention to me!
Look at me!
Look at me! He should be taken off of TikTok and arrested. This is so horribly wrong what happened. He was just trying to protect his daughter. I'm angry and I'm sad, Schmidt said. It all started because... Well, okay. Are you sad or are you not sad? You just said in the prior paragraph that you're not...
You don't... Oh
my God. He doesn't know how he feels or what he thinks. The family and police have urged people not to share the shocking footage of the savage attack.
Someone took my brother's life yesterday and another person filmed it. Please do not watch. Instead of calling the police and worst off, posted it on social media very clearly for views. That's just heartbreaking. This guy is subhuman. He's subhuman.
He's not as bad as the murderer, but he might as well be.
In a way, he's kind of worse.
I mean, both of them are insane. Both of them are self-centered pricks. Yeah, I'm starting to swear a little bit.
I still kind of don't see that as a swear word. But okay.
Well, that's why I used it, because you can justify certain words not being... Yeah. My, oh my, and the thing and the stuff. Okay.
And the thing and the stuff.
All right.
Alrighty.
Well, how about this? Who would have thought?
We can't remember whether we shared this one or not, but it needs to be shared because it's too funny.
Do's it, Melanie Hope.
Packed together like a festering sardine in a flying aluminum can, every airline passenger in coach class dreams of escape. Except maybe that eerily grinning masochist sitting in 24D. Cute intro. Cute. This is from Miami. It does say that it's a humorous article, but it is based on fact. If only we could creep into the business class section, we'd spare ourselves the shrieks of unruly children, the faint smell of dysentery, and bags of half-stale pretzels doled out to keep the cabin nourished just enough to prevent us from tearing each other to shreds. Beyond the unspoken barrier are those giant squishy seats and an attentive flight crew presumably offering foot massages and filet mignon as we drift off into in-flight bliss. It's really not that great. Although if I would be willing to pay for the upgrade for a foot massage. Whether through transcendental meditation or overpriced airline cocktails, most of us cope with the economy class grotesquerie. Good word.
Yeah. And
find our way peacefully to the destination. For one man, however, the stench was just too thick.
Dun, dun, dun!
So here's the headline I'm going to reveal. Man charged with in-flight assault after attempted escape from gassy airline passenger. So whoever wrote this is very well... Who wrote this is... Izzy Kapnick. Sounds like a comedian's name, but well written. It was approaching midnight on January 9th when Daniel David Becken boarded American Flight 56 at Miami International Airport, Florida. Where else?
So it's a Florida man
Overwhelmed by
story.
a nearby passenger's farts, Beacon stood up from his assigned seat in economy class about 2 hours into the roughly 8-hour flight, according to an air marshal's affidavit. He made his way to the front of the plane where he planted himself in an empty business class seat, the affidavit says. A flight attendant discovered the alleged coup and approached Beacon asking him to return to economy class. Beacon purportedly offered to pay for his new cushier spot, but the flight attendant broke some unfortunate news. The opportunity to upgrade was long past, and Beacon had no choice but to return to the back of the cabin, where more flatulence surely awaited him. Okay, if the seat was empty, who cares? Leave him alone. According to the affidavit, Beacon had a less than civil response to the attendant, whom federal law enforcement dubbed P.E. to protect his privacy. Beacon began shouting vulgar language and spitting at P.E. The spit landed on P.E.'s face and body, the affidavit alleges. The flight attendant moved away, but Beacon confronted him in the gallery and punched him in the punum?
Punum. I'll keep looking for punum while you keep reading.
Okay, I want to know what the punum is. causing him to fall to the floor and hit his head, according to the court document. Okay, now you went too far, dum-dum. Another flight attendant who witnessed the alleged assault told law enforcement that she saw Beacon standing on top of the seat in business class, shouting and spitting on her coworker. See, you went from reasonable to, well, guy who takes selfies at a murder scene. She then tried to calm Beacon down and directed him back into the coach class. The incident left her frightened and shaking, she claimed. Beacon began to walk to the back of the plane toward the last row, shouting loud obscenities toward the rest of the flight crew in the rear galley. He then sat down in an economy seat, the affidavit alleges. Beacon proceeded to shove a third flight attendant near the rear of the plane. Was that anywhere near the bootnum or whatever? According to the affidavit. Once the pilot was apprised of the fracas, this guy has fun with words. He diverted the plane back to Miami International Airport at 3:52 a.m., more than 4 hours after boarding. The flight arrived back at the Magic City, and Beacon was hauled into state custody.
Lapunam is Yiddish for face. The guy's name is Izzy, who wrote this. So draw your own conclusions.
Boy, with the Yiddish already. The allegedly you should have known that. The allegedly unruly passenger is facing federal charges of assault within a territorial jurisdiction and interference. Why did I say interface? Oh, because he got punched in the face.
Punched in the Poonam face.
Punched in the Poonam. With the flight crew, the latter charge is a potential felony. Can you describe the ruckus? Filed against Beacon in the Southern District of Florida on January 13th, the criminal complaint is supported by an investigation by a senior federal air marshal with the Transportation Security, the TSA. Why the whole thing, really? Who serves as a task force officer for the FBI at Miami International Airport. Beacon's attorney at the Federal Public Defender's Office has not responded to requests for comments.
Why would you want to?
He admitted that he did not want to move from the business class seat. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
This is your Captain Obvious speaking. We'll be flowing over the Well-Duh River.
Okay, notice that nobody's talking about the person who was passing gas. Imagine all of that started because you had to fart. How terrible you would feel for having to have the plane return. And as somebody who has digestive issues, I would feel awful if the plane had to return after being in the air for 3 hours.
Oh, I remember
and everybody had to get off.
I think we've all had that fart that would rather clear a room. I've done it.
Around the world was the start of the
I had a whispering death fart in junior high that's still legendary to this day, but nobody knew until now it was me.
Oh my!
So yeah,
well, they know now. Yeah.
Yeah, they know now.
Okay.
All the -5 people were listening.
This last one is hey, we have an audience.
We do.
In the chat, we have an audience.
Yay! I meant my friends from junior high. Never mind. Of whom I have none. No, that's not true. You met Paula, so you know.
Wow, we're all the way back from junior high.
Actually, I was in 6th grade and she was in 5th grade when I met her. So yeah, we go back a ways.
Me and Lexi was back a ways.
Yeah. New Mexico State Police have launched an investigation after officers mistakenly responded to a wrong address and fatally shot the armed homeowner.
Oh my God.
The Farmington Police Department said it received a call about a domestic violence incident around 11:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Officers responded to the scene, but mistakenly approached 5305 Valley View Avenue instead of 5308 Valley View Avenue. Dipsticks. Officers knocked on the front door of the wrong house and announced themselves several times, according to the Farmington Police Department. When there was no response, officers asked dispatch to call the reporting party back and have them come to the front door, according to New Mexico State Police. New Mexico State Police said body camera footage shows the homeowner, 53-year-old Robert Dotson, open the screen door armed with a handgun as the officers were backing away. What followed was a chaotic scene with officers retreating and opening fire. Mr. Dotson was struck and later died at the scene, Chief Steve Hebby said in a recorded statement.
Why do you go to the door with a gun in your hand if you can see it's cops? Who does that?
That was a dumb thing to do.
I mean,
That was a
seriously, who
genuinely
does that?
dumb thing to do. Dotson was, well, I mean, it depends on the context. But anyway, Dotson was pronounced dead at the scene by the Office of Medical Investigator. After the initial shooting, Dotson's wife fired from the doorway of her residence and officers returned fire. Once she realized the individuals outside the house of police, she put the gun down and complied with their commands, according to state police.
So they must not have had a peephole or a...
No. His wife was not injured, has not been charged with a crime, according to state police. Officers involved in the shooting were not injured. Nice. Who cares? According to state police. Hebby said body camera footage will be released after the officers provide their statements. They're expected to do so within a week. A decision on whether charges will be filed against the officers rests with the district attorney's office, state police said. This is an extremely traumatic event, and I am just heartbroken by the circumstances surrounding this. Mr. Dotson was not the subject of the call that our officers were responding to, and this ending is just unbelievably tragic, Hebby said. I'm extremely sorry that we're in this position. We'll find more facts and possibly better officers as we go through this investigation over the next several days. Send them to Uvalde. Next.
Ow. Ooh, too soon. Too soon.
Punchline.
Yipe.
I'll regret that after I listen to the playback of this show, I'm pretty sure. So,
okay,
yeah.
I have one more.
Okay, let's do one more and then we'll move on to Wonderfuller.
And then we'll move on to Wonderfuller. This actually took place the last week of March, and we meant to share it, but earlier this week, the beloved satire site The Onion, which I used to love The Onion, but I'm telling you, Babylon Bee is absolutely rocking it.
Yeah, they're both funny. I like them both.
Yeah. Anyways, The Onion posted a headline and photo that claimed hundreds of Cubans had clung to the wings of Air Force One in an attempt to come back to the U.S., along with President Obama in the wake of his historical Cuba trip. So this actually took place back in 2016. I don't know why it's coming up now.
That's still funny.
You'd think most social media users... Oh my god, they even have a Photoshop. Oh, that's hilarious. You'd think most social media users know about The Onion, but in true internet fashion... that apparently isn't the case. And Babylon Bee gets fact-checked all the time. It's hilarious. According to the urban legend and hoax-debunking website Snopes.com, not everyone got the joke. Snopes is a joke. Thanks to an influx of emails from confused readers, I bet, the site was forced to run a post labeling the claim as false.
You could have just said it was satire, leave it alone. Whatever.
Social media users have often unwittingly shared fake news articles published by websites that exist solely to traffic in outlandish false stories. I see this all the time on Twitter, and I really hate it when conservatives do it, and I have to fact check them because then they all get mad at me, and it's like, okay, look, let's not be them. Let's not be the people that come up with these crazy things and pretend like it's real. It's not. Here's proof.
Well, it's like the article about the Anheuser-Busch CEO stepping down that didn't happen.
We have facts on our side. We don't need to peddle in this ridiculousness.
Right.
And I don't, when I repost something and I later find out it's not true, I want that correction out there. I don't want to be responsible for spreading false information contrary to popular belief. Anyways, The Onion began in the pre-internet days as a printed humor publication and evolved to become the premier online satirical website. The Onion's item about Cuban refugees clinging to Air Force One consisted of a photograph and headline with no content, as did a previous and similarly confusing... How is... If you're that damn dumb... I mean, you literally have a 747 mid-flight with a bunch of photoshopped people on it. Do people not know how fast airplanes go? That the chances of people holding... I'm done.
Let's just leave it. Let's just leave it.
I have lost all faith in society.
Let's just leave it. We have a far better story to talk about now.
Yes. I actually posted the whole thing in there if you would like to read it, because you have got the lovely voice.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you want to do the prelude? I don't think we really need to.
I don't think we need to play
This is the most wonderful, fullest story of all.
Wonderfulest story in the world.
Now Mary stood outside the tomb crying. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb and saw 2 angels in white, seated where Jesus' body had been, one at the head and the other at the foot. They asked her, "Woman, why are you crying?" "They have taken my Lord away," she said, "and I don't know where they have put him." At this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not realize that it was Jesus. He asked her, "Woman, why are you crying? Who is it you are looking for?" Thinking he was the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will get him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned around.
That gets me in the feels every time.
Doesn't it? It's like...
Can you imagine having the living Christ speak your name? Whoa.
That would
the
be...
goosebumps.
That'll happen someday. But anyway. Jesus said... let me try that again. Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned towards him and cried out in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said, "Do not hold on to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. Go instead to my brothers and tell them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, from my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went to the disciples with the news, "I have seen the Lord." And she told them that he had said these things to her.
My dad shared this with us all, the whole family, as he kind of does every year. And this is his favorite version of it, because this is repeated in all the Gospels.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite version of it, too.
I think what I love most about this is, and not just this particular version, but all, they all correspond to each other. Christ did not have to appear to women. Women back then were property. They weren't allowed to testify even on their own behalf. Mm-hmm. They were not listened to. If they went to tell people news, nobody would believe them until a man backed them up.
Right.
So when people sit there and say, "Oh, Christianity is against women," and traditional wives are terrible, and on and on and on, it's like, well, then you just are not familiar with the gospel, because Christ appeared first to women, mm-hmm. and those women spread the most amazing news of all, and they were believed by men. That is the ultimate feminist take.
Right.
It doesn't get any better than that. And Mary Magdalene was a prostitute.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the ultimate redemption.
Absolutely.
The whole reason he died was for our sins, and the one who had sinned so much and so often, mm-hmm. and turned away from that was the one that he revealed himself to first. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
And so wonderful. And it's the whole reason that this is my favorite holiday. Folks, it's been an amazing 2 hours, and it's been an amazing Easter. I hope that you've had time to celebrate with your family the greatest gift that we've ever been given. If not, I hope you had time to celebrate it in the last couple of hours. Truly enjoyed talking with you, at you, to you, and because of you.
Thanks for keeping us going. You're the reason we keep going.
We'll be here next week with more shenanigans.
And monkey shines and
ginger snappery
and tomfoolery.
Make sure you head on over to counterculturewise.com. We post all of our links. We archive them, of course, so that they can't change them after the fact, as they've been wont to do. If you're curious on where we get our stories or how we arrive at them, you will find all of that on our website. Of course, you can follow us on all the social medias, of course, the Twitters and the Facebooks and the places where we get kicked off all the time. But we're also on Locals. We will start live streaming on Locals soon. We've got some things in the works. We're also on BitChute and Rumble, where you will see our animations and our videos of holy crap, this is actually happening, which does come out every week. If you are one of our YouTubers, check us out on Rumble, because we are going to be kicked off of YouTube
we may just walk away from YouTube altogether.
We may just walk away altogether. I mean, you can go on, get several hundred subscribers in a few minutes, and then all of a sudden you're shadow banned to the point. We're on our third channel now. We just keep getting
we just keep going.
It's ridiculous. So mostly on Rumble and BitChute. Of course, check out counterculturewise.com.
On behalf of myself, Allie, and Sadie, and Fritzy, and Max, we welcome and we thank you so much for being.
We also have a Subscribe Star, and of course we're pretty much everywhere. We're on the internet dark web even. Ooh. But we are on Minds, we are on Gab, we are on Getter, we're even on Truth Social, believe it or not.
Parler.
We're on Instagram, we're on Parler.
We're soon going to be on a couple of others. Just spread the love. We're going to spread the love no matter how we do this.
Spread it thin, let more people find us.
Spread it thin, let people in.
If you're listening after the fact, like, share, subscribe, give us a 1,000-star review. If you hate our guts, head on over to counterculturewise.com, fill out the ID10T form, and we will give it the attention it deserves. That being said, he is risen!
He is risen indeed. Good night, folks.
God bless you, and happy Easter. We will see you next week.
Counterculture-Wise is a Stormcat production.
Thank you for joining our growing family of listeners. All links from the show are available on our website, counterculturewise.com. Find our archives on any of your favorite podcast hosts.
We engage in satire, commentary, and generally laugh at the ridiculousness of our crumbling society. Our only medical or financial advice is to not follow any financial or medical advice given by podcasters.
Our animations, interviews, holy crap segment, and other videos are put out on BitChute and Rumble, and only in part on YouTube because they hate free speech.
Our show is entirely funded by listeners like you. Visit our ever-expanding merch store or our Subscribe Star, where you can get outtakes, extra videos, and sneak peeks.
If you would like to be a guest on our program, feel free to contact us via our website. Just click on the link at the top that says, Be a Guest on Our Show.
For more fun and cat pics, please visit our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. For complaints about our show, please fill out the ID10T form on our website, and we will give it the attention it deserves.
Meanwhile, no matter how cruel the world may be around you, always remember the importance of kindness. Be kind to each other, be kind to animals, and be kind to yourself. See you next week.